A story that has made national headlines happened right here in the Triad. A High Point pastor arrested after police say he tried to push his wife's co-worker into a McDonald's deep fryer. WFMY News 2's Amber Lake spoke with Pastor Dwayne Whedon and his wife about what they say happened, plus a response from McDonald's.
A conflict at McDonald's.
You're not going to disrespect my wife.
Turned into a pastor in handcuffs.
I ended up getting arrested and, getting a simple assault charge.
57-year-old Pastor Dwayne Whedon tells me this all started back in May when his wife got a job at the McDonald's on South Main Street in High Point. The Whedons claim she was being mistreated while on the job. Whedon says corporate was notified but claims nothing changed. The pastor says he went to pick his wife up from work last Thursday after she called him claiming she was being harassed again.
She went back in the back to get her keys. And when she went back to get her keys, the gentleman came from behind, which was a manager, mouthing off at me and disrespecting my wife.
Police say that's when Whedon pushed a cook's head towards the deep fryer and punched him in the face. Whedon says it didn't necessarily happen that way.
He got in my face, and when he got in my face, I pushed him. And when I pushed him, he grabbed me. So when he grabbed me, we went to tussling and stuff of that nature. And the floor was real slippery. So, I kind of bear hugged him. And when I bear hugged him, he punched me in the back of my head. So when he punched me in the back of my head, I commenced to swinging.
Several employees had to pull Whedon off the employee, according to the police report. Police also say the employee suffered a large contusion to the forehead and right eye, along with scratches on his neck. McDonald's released a statement that reads in part, "The safety and security of our employees and customers is our top priority, and I was appalled by this act of violence in my restaurant last week." Whedon says looking back, he regrets not walking away.
My intent was to get my wife and leave and get out of that environment. Going forward, this is a learning experience going forward. Just, don't let people pull you into their chaos. Going forward, I just walk away.
Well, Tuesday's storm left one Covington RV park in shambles. 6 people had to be rescued this morning due to flooding from the Yellow River running next to it.
11 Alive's Teresa Bowles has the stories of those whose homes are currently underwater.
The residents of Riverside RV Park knew the storm was coming.
It started coming in like it was a waterfall.
They just didn't know it'd be this bad, this fast.
Steps started going under, so we had to quickly get our animals out and grab at least one change of clothes.
Newton County officials said they warned people to evacuate, but for those who didn't, it was too late.
We started knocking on doors at neighbors because there was a lot of people that still hadn't left.
The rain was pouring, the wind was whipping, and Wednesday morning neighbors like Don Rogers woke up to a yard underwater. A boat had to come and save him.
We got up this morning and it was all water all around us. It came up quicker than we thought it was. And so the emergency people came in and evacuated me.
Holly Franklin said she watched bad turn to worse as crews worked to rescue 6 people.
I seen people trying to get all their stuff out. Cars were being pulled out. I even seen a couple boats. People were underwater trying to get their stuff unplugged.
Neighbors tell me the RVs you're seeing right here sinking in this water used to be their homes. Some residents tell me they have nowhere to go.
No, yet. I'll figure out something.
Many return to see their belongings like pots, tables, and even cars floating right alongside the Yellow River. Their joy floating away with it. Rogers works in landscaping. He said his equipment is ruined.
Sad. That's sad.
Thankfully, everyone made it out, but they won't know the condition of their homes until the water recedes. The Red Cross has stepped in to help, and emergency management is assessing the damage. All residents can do now is watch and wait.
It's turned into lakes. Video showing fast-moving water flooding the Ross parking lot. This is just off of Highway 278 in Covington. Atlanta News First, Rachel Aragon live tonight southeast of Atlanta in Newton County. Rachel, I absolutely hate to see people having to deal with that flooded mess.
Yeah, something no one ever wants to experience. In fact, the flooding here taking a hit on parts of Covington. Right behind me, though, you can see the good news is the water pretty much completely receded. Those cars you're seeing right there were submerged in water, Sean. Take a look at this video. This is what we saw when we pulled up to the scene earlier today, and it was even higher earlier this morning. Not something anyone wants to deal with. Again, that's a look from earlier today, and crews were out here trying to help clear everything and keep everyone safe. The Covington Fire Chief tells me this is a troublesome spot for flooding because it's one of the lowest points in the city and near a creek. Well, those who live nearby in this area, they were taking everything in as they passed by.
It's not good. My heart goes out to the people that left their vehicles here.
Anytime we get a sudden influx of 2 to 4 inches of rain, we're dealing with this.
Yeah, those images, again, not something you ever want to run into, but the good news is that fire chief you just heard from right there telling me that no one was injured because of the flooding. Reporting live in Covington tonight, Rachel Aragon, Atlanta News First.
Our team coverage continues tonight with Christina Mendez, who's live at Fells Point.
And Christina, we saw that video you sent in a little bit earlier about the tow trucks moving cars out of dangerous water. What are you seeing out there tonight?
Hey guys, well, I'm standing in front of Thames Street Park just to set the scene here. This particular bookend of Fells Point completely underwater. Earlier this evening, we were able to get down this street that you can see here has several feet of water, at least in the center of that. Just beyond that fence is the harbor. So you can imagine that particular end does flood on a given day when we see a lot of rain, but of course not to this extent. Now, as you said, Rick, earlier, cars were lining both sides of Wolf Street at Thames. That was a big problem as the water continued to climb inland. We saw a couple people before it got this bad able to move their cars out, but then we saw 4 or 5 tow trucks actually get to the scene, and those tow trucks had to go in there and remove the remaining cars away from this blocked off section. You can see, though, people are still trying to get through this intersection. Lots of murky water, which is of course a dangerous element in itself. We've actually seen people clipping this end here. The problem is, yeah, it's murky, but it's also getting pretty deep. So as people are trying to navigate through this water, which of course we don't recommend, they're actually clipping the curb here. And as I walk to the edge of this very sidewalk, you can just get a look at how deep the water is, ankle deep, and this is on a lifted curb. So the situation here, as you heard yourself, it does seem to get a little bit worse on this end, and it's actually expanding through Fells Point. We're going to check out some other areas throughout the Baltimore City area and continue to update you with these live updates.